The sirens wailed through Seoul's busy streets as Taemin Park rushed toward the collapsed building. Smoke and dust filled the air, making it hard to see. People ran away from the disaster, but Taemin ran toward it. That was his job as a paramedic. That was who he was. The apartment building had fallen during the earthquake. 7 floors of concrete and steel now lay in a twisted pile. Taemin could hear voices calling for help from inside the rubble. His partner Hyewan was already setting up the medical station nearby. "How many people are trapped?" Taemin asked the fire chief. "Maybe 30 or 40 families. The building was full when it came down." The chief looked worried. "We can't get our heavy equipment here fast enough. The roads are blocked." Taemin nodded and grabbed his medical bag. He had done this before. 2 years ago, his younger sister, Daeyeon, had died in a terrorist bombing. He couldn't save her, but maybe he could save others. Every life mattered. Every person deserved a chance. He crawled into a small opening between 2 concrete slabs. The space was narrow and dangerous. More pieces could fall at any time, but somewhere in the darkness a child was crying. "Hello, can you hear me?" Taemin called out. "Help! Please help us!" A woman's voice answered. "My daughter is hurt." Taemin followed the voice deeper into the rubble. His flashlight showed him the way through the maze of broken concrete and twisted metal. The air was thick with dust. Every breath was difficult. He found them in a small pocket of space. A mother held her young daughter. The little girl's leg was bleeding, but she was alive. The mother had cuts on her face and arms. "I'm going to get you out," Taemin promised. He started checking the girl's injuries. The leg was broken, but not too badly. "What's your name, little one?" "So Young," the girl whispered. "That's a beautiful name. So Young, I need you to be very brave, okay? We're going to crawl out of here together." Taemin carefully put a splint on the girl's leg. Then he helped the mother carry her daughter toward the opening. It took 20 minutes to get them out, safely. The rescue workers cheered when they emerged, but Taemin wasn't finished. He could still hear voices from inside. "Don't go back in there," Hyewan warned him. "It's too dangerous. The structure is getting weaker." "There are more people inside," Taemin said. "I can hear them." He went back into the rubble 5 more times. Each trip was more dangerous than the last. The building groaned and shifted around him. Concrete dust fell like snow, but each time he brought someone out alive. On his 6th trip, he found an old man trapped under a heavy beam. The man's legs were crushed and he was barely conscious. Taemin tried to lift the beam, but it was too heavy. "Leave me," the old man whispered. "Save yourself." "No way," Taemin said. "We're both getting out of here." He found a metal pipe and used it as a lever. Slowly, inch by inch, he lifted the beam enough to pull the old man free. The effort made his muscles scream, but he didn't stop. As they crawled toward the exit, the building started to collapse again. A huge concrete slab broke free above them. There was nowhere to run. Taemin threw himself over the old man, ready to take the impact. But the concrete never hit them. Instead, a brilliant golden light filled the space around them. The light was warm and peaceful, like sunshine. The falling concrete stopped in midair, held by some invisible force. Then Taemin saw it. A crystal the size of his hand floated down from above. It glowed with inner fire, and strange symbols moved across its surface like living things. The crystal passed through the concrete and, still as if they weren't there, the crystal settled gently into Taemin's hands. The moment he touched it, the world changed. Power flowed through his body like electricity. His tired muscles felt strong again. His mind became clear and sharp. He could sense every person still trapped in the building. He knew exactly where they were and how to reach them. The crystal spoke to him without words. It showed him visions of distant stars and alien worlds. It told him about a great war between good and evil that stretched across the galaxy. It showed him the faces of creatures he had never seen before, but most importantly, it showed him his sister Daun. She stood in the golden light, smiling at him. "You have a good heart, brother," she said. "That's why it chose you. Use this gift to protect others like you always do." Daun. Taman reached for her, but she was already fading. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. And then she was gone. Taman found himself back in the collapsed building. The old man was looking at him with wide eyes. "What was that light?" the man asked. "I don't know," Taman admitted. But he could feel the crystal's power inside him now. He knew he could save everyone still trapped in the building, with the crystal's help. He moved through the rubble like it was nothing. He lifted heavy beams with ease. He found every trapped person and brought them all to safety. The rescue that should have taken hours was finished in minutes. When the last person was safe, Taman collapsed from exhaustion. The crystal had gone dark and quiet, but he could still feel it connected to him somehow. High above Seoul, something was watching. Ships hung in the clouds, invisible to human eyes. Some of the watchers were pleased that the weapon had chosen a worthy bearer. Others were angry that such power had fallen into human hands. The crystal had sent a signal across the galaxy when it bonded with Taemin. Now everyone knew that the legendary weapon of the godlike Ashanti had awakened. The weapon that could change the balance of power in the universe was in the hands of a human paramedic from Earth. Taemin didn't know about the ships yet. He didn't know that aliens existed or that a war was coming to his world. All he knew was that 17 people were alive because of what happened today. For now, that was enough. But tomorrow, everything would change. 3 days after the building collapsed, strange things started happening around Seoul. Electronics stopped working randomly. The sky flickered with lights that weren't lightning. Animals acted nervous and scared. Taemin tried to go back to his normal life, but the crystal made that impossible. It had become part of him somehow. When he concentrated, he could see through walls. When someone was hurt, he knew exactly what was wrong with them before checking. His reflexes were faster than any human should be. On Thursday morning, everything changed. Taemin was drinking coffee at the hospital when the sky exploded with light. Huge ships appeared above the city, bigger than any building. They were made of black metal and glowed with red energy. People screamed and ran as the ships descended. But then other ships appeared. These were white and silver, shaped like flowing water. They positioned themselves between the black ships and the city. Taemin felt the crystal pulse inside his chest. It was responding to the alien ships. A voice spoke in his mind, clear as if someone was standing next to him. "Bearer of the blade, you must come to us quickly. Time grows short." Before Taemin could react, a beam of light surrounded him. He felt himself being lifted into the air. The world disappeared in a flash of brightness. When his vision cleared, he was standing in a room that couldn't exist. The walls seemed to be made of water that flowed upward. Strange plants grew in impossible spirals. The air smelled like ocean, breeze and flowers. 3 beings stood before him. They looked almost human, but their skin was pale blue and their eyes were silver. They wore robes that seemed to be made of starlight. "Welcome, Taemin Park," said the tallest one. "I am Ambassador Kethra of the Thalan Republic. We have been waiting for someone like you for a very long time." "Where am I?" Taemin asked. "What's happening to my city?" "You are aboard our ship, hidden beneath your country's mountains. As for your city, it is safe for now. But that may not last long." Kethra gestured to a wall that became transparent. Through it, Taemin could see the black ship still hovering over Seoul. "Those are Corvin Empire vessels. They have come for what you carry." "The crystal?" "Not just a crystal. The blade of Veltar, forged by the Ashanti before their civilization ended. It is the most powerful weapon in the galaxy, and it has chosen you as its bearer." Kethra led Taemin to another room where Dr. Soo-Jin Lee was waiting. She was a Korean woman about his age, wearing simple clothes and looking very confused. "Dr. Lee is an expert in languages," Kethra explained. "We brought her here to help communicate with your people. She has been learning about us while you were unconscious." "Unconscious? How long was I out?" 6 hours, Dr. Lee said. "I've seen incredible things, Taemin. These people, they're not from Earth. And there's a war happening out there among the stars." Kethra nodded sadly. "The Corvin Empire has been conquering worlds for thousands of years. They enslave entire species and strip planets bare of resources. My people, the Thalans, have been fighting them, but we are losing." "What does this have to do with me?" Taemin asked. The Ashanti were like gods compared to the rest of us. When they realized they couldn't defeat the Corvins, they created the blade as a last hope, but it can only be used by someone with a pure heart and the will to protect others. It spent centuries searching the galaxy for the right person. And it chose me? A paramedic? You risked your life 6 times to save strangers. You threw yourself in front of falling concrete to protect an old man you'd never met. The blade doesn't measure power or knowledge. It measures character. Kethra showed Taimin how to use the crystal's abilities properly. With practice, he could project energy, shields and fire beams of golden light. His body became stronger and faster. Most importantly, he could sense the emotions and intentions of everyone around him. The blade learns from you as you learn from it, Kethra explained. In time, you will be able to do things that seem impossible. But learning to use the weapon was only part of the challenge. Captain Jinwoo Kim of the Korean military had been brought to the ship as well. He was angry and suspicious. "How do we know you're telling the truth?" Captain Kim demanded. "Maybe you're the invaders and those black ships are here to defend us." "Because of this," Dr. Lee said. She showed him recordings the Thalans had given her. They showed Corvin ships attacking peaceful worlds, cities burning, people being loaded onto slave ships. They've done this to hundreds of worlds. The recordings were horrible, but they convinced Captain Kim. He started working with Kethra to plan Earth's defense. Meanwhile, Taemin struggled with the weight of responsibility. The crystal showed him visions of the future. He saw Earth burning if he failed. He saw his friends and family as slaves. He saw the Corvin Empire spreading across the galaxy like a disease. But he also saw something else. He saw humans fighting alongside aliens. He saw Earth's ships traveling to distant stars. He saw a future where humanity became protectors instead of just survivors. "Why humans?" he asked Kethra during one training session. "What makes us special?" "Your species has something rare," the ambassador replied. "You can adapt to almost anything. You can be incredibly compassionate but also fierce warriors when needed. Most importantly, you never give up. We've studied your history. Every time your people faced extinction, they found a way to survive and grow stronger." The training continued for days, but time was running out. The Corvin ships were gathering more forces. Soon they would demand Earth's surrender. On the 5th day, Taemin felt ready. The crystal had bonded completely with his body and mind. He could feel its power flowing through him like a second heartbeat. "There's something else you need to know," Kethra said as they prepared for battle. "The Ashanti didn't disappear completely. Part of their consciousness lives on in the blade. Your sister Dayun, she was real, but she was also them. They wanted you to know that choosing this path would honor her memory." Taemin closed his eyes and felt Dayun's presence in the crystal. She was proud of him. She believed he could save Earth and maybe the whole galaxy. "I'm ready," he said. "Then it's time to show the Corvins what humans can do," Kethra replied. The real war was about to begin. The Corvin attack began at dawn. Massive black ships descended through the clouds like falling mountains. They moved slowly, wanting everyone to see their power and feel afraid. The largest ship stopped over Seoul's city center and opened like a flower of metal and darkness. Creatures poured out of the ships. They looked like insects mixed with machines, with sharp claws and glowing red eyes. They were twice as tall as humans and moved on 6 legs. Behind them came floating war machines that fired bolts of red energy. People ran screaming through the streets. Cars crashed as drivers panicked. The sound of the alien weapons echoed off the buildings like thunder. From the hidden Thalan base, Taemin watched the invasion begin. The crystal in his chest burned with golden fire. It was responding to his anger and determination. No one was going to hurt his city or his people. "The Corvins call this a demonstration," Kethra said. "They want to show Earth what will happen if we don't surrender you and the blade." "How many people will die?" Taemin asked. "Thousands if we don't stop them quickly." Taemin stood up. The blade's power flowed through his body like liquid lightning. "Then we stop them now." Captain Kim had been coordinating with military forces around the world. "Our weapons barely scratch their ships," and he reported. "Missiles just bounce off their shields." "Human weapons won't work," Kethra agreed. But the blade will. Dr. Lee grabbed Taemin's arm. You can't fight all of them alone. There are too many. I won't be alone, Taemin said. He could feel something awakening in the crystal. The Ashanti consciousness was stirring, sharing knowledge that had been hidden for thousands of years. The blade was made to fight exactly this kind of enemy. A beam of light transported him to Seoul's streets. The city was chaos. Corvin soldiers smashed through shop windows and grabbed anyone they could find. The floating war machines destroyed cars and buses with casual cruelty. Taemin landed in the middle of Myeongdong shopping district. A group of Corvin soldiers had cornered a family with young children. Their weapons were pointed at the parents. Hey! Taemin shouted. The aliens turned toward him. They made clicking sounds that might have been laughter. To them, he was just another weak human. The blade erupted from Taemin's chest in a pillar of golden light. It formed into a sword made of pure energy, longer than his body and brighter than the sun. The Corvin soldiers stopped laughing. Taemin moved faster than thought. The blade cut through alien armor like it was paper. In 3 seconds, the soldiers were gone, turned to ash by the weapon's power. Run, he told the family. Get to the subway stations. You'll be safer underground. More Corvins appeared, called by the sound of battle. They fired their red energy bolts at Taemin, but he raised his free hand and created a shield of golden light. The alien weapons couldn't penetrate it. Taemin leaped 20 feet into the air and landed among the aliens. The blade sang as it moved, cutting through weapons and armor. Each strike released a burst of golden energy that spread to nearby enemies. But more kept coming. The Corvins had brought thousands of soldiers to Earth. Even with the blade's power, Taemin couldn't be everywhere at once. That's when he discovered the weapon's true gift. As he fought, some of his power began flowing to the humans around him. Police officers found that their bullets could suddenly pierce Corvin armor. Firefighters became strong enough to lift burning cars. Ordinary people discovered they could run faster and think clearer than ever before. The blade was turning everyone, nearby, into heroes. Siwan, his paramedic partner, found him in the middle of the battle. She was carrying a rifle and moving with impossible speed and accuracy. I can feel it, she said, firing shots that dropped 3 Corvin soldiers. It's like you're sharing your strength with all of us. That's exactly what's happening, Taemin realized. The Ashanti consciousness whispered the truth to him. The blade didn't just create one super warrior. It created an army of them. Word spread quickly through Seoul's communication networks. People stopped running and started fighting back. Students used enhanced reflexes to dodge alien weapons and strike back with improvised tools. Office workers coordinated perfect ambushes using their boosted intelligence. The Corvins had expected easy conquest. Instead, they found every human in the city becoming a dangerous opponent. General Bo Young-han watched the battle from the military command center. She had never seen anything like it. How are our people doing this? She asked Captain Kim over the radio. The blade bearer, Kim replied. He's somehow making everyone stronger and smarter. Our entire species is evolving in real time. High above the city, War Prime Nexera commanded the Corvin fleet. She was 8 feet tall with 4 arms and skin like black metal. She had conquered 40 worlds for the Empire, but she had never seen anything like this. Increase the attack, she ordered. Deploy the heavy war machines. If these humans want to resist, we'll show them what real power looks like. The largest Corvin ship opened. New bays. Machines the size of buildings fell toward Seoul. They had weapons that could level city blocks and armor that could withstand nuclear bombs. Taemin saw them coming. The blade showed him exactly what those machines could do. If they reached the ground, thousands of people would die in minutes. He pointed the energy sword skyward and fired a beam of golden light. It struck the first war machine and cut it in half. The pieces crashed into the Han River instead of the city, but there were dozens more falling. Taemin couldn't stop them all. That's when Dr. Woo Jin Song, a physicist at Seoul National University, made contact. His team had been studying pieces of Corvin technology that fell during the battle. We figured out how their shields work, he reported to General Han. If we can hit them with the right frequency of electromagnetic pulse, we can disable their defenses. Can you build something to do that? The general asked. Already working on it, but we'll need time. Taemin bought them that time. He flew from machine to machine, using the blade to destroy their weapons before they could fire. His enhanced human allies coordinated evacuation efforts with perfect efficiency. The battle raged for 6 hours. By the end, Seoul looked like a war zone, but it was still standing. The Corvan ground forces had been completely defeated. Their war machines were scrap metal, and every human who had fought alongside Taemin was forever changed. War Prime Nexara retreated to orbit, but not before sending a message to Earth's governments. This was just a test. The real invasion begins tomorrow. Surrender the Blade Bearer, or we will turn your entire world to ash. That night, as the city counted its wounded and mourned its dead, Taemin stood on the hospital roof where he used to eat lunch. The blade had gone quiet again, but he could still feel its power inside him. Hyewon joined him there. "How many people do you think you enhanced today?" she asked. "Maybe 50,000, Taemin replied. "Everyone who was fighting near me." "And they're all still enhanced?" "As far as I can tell, the effect seems to be permanent." Hyewon smiled. "Then we have 50,000 super soldiers to help defend Earth." "We'll need a lot more than that," Taemin said, looking up at the alien. "Ships in orbit." "But it's a start." The blade pulsed gently in his chest. The Ashanti consciousness whispered to him of greater battles to come. Earth had passed its first test, but the real war for humanity's future was just beginning. 6 months after the Seoul battle, humanity had changed forever. The 50,000 people enhanced by Taemin's power had become the core of Earth's new military force. They called themselves the Guardian Corps. Each enhanced human could move faster, think clearer, and coordinate with others in ways that seemed impossible. Dr. Woo Jin Song had reverse-engineered enough Corvan technology to build humanity's first starships. They were smaller than alien vessels, but faster and more maneuverable. Engineer Yejin Kang had found ways to combine human creativity with alien science, creating weapons and defenses that surprised even the Thalans. Taemin stood on the bridge of the Harmony, Earth's flagship. Through the view screen, he could see the Kethmore Station, a massive Corvan fortress that controlled 3 star systems. Inside that station, thousands of enslaved aliens worked in terrible conditions. "Sensors show heavy defenses," reported Commander Do-hyun Lee, Taemin's military advisor. "At least 50 warships and hundreds of fighter craft. And probably 10,000 Corvan soldiers inside the station," added Moon-Sik Yoon, Earth's best pilot. He had learned to fly captured Corvan fighters, better than their original pilots. Ambassador Kethra appeared on the communication screen from his own ship. "This is humanity's first major space battle. Are you certain you're ready?" "We'll never be completely ready," Taemin replied. "But those people in the station have been waiting for freedom too long already." The blade pulsed in his chest, sharing tactical information with every enhanced human in the fleet. They could see the battle like a 3-dimensional chess game, understanding each other's moves without speaking. Oracle Jisoo Park, Taemin's cousin, sat at a special console on the bridge. She had developed psychic abilities from being near the blade so often. Her eyes glowed faintly as she reached out with her mind. "I can feel them," she whispered. "Thousands of aliens trapped in the station. They're scared but also hopeful. Somehow, they know we're coming to help." The Corvan fleet moved to intercept them. Their ships were massive and powerful, designed to intimidate enemies into surrender. But humanity had learned that size wasn't everything. "Begin the attack," Taemin ordered. Earth ships scattered in all directions, moving like a school of fish avoiding a shark. The Corvans tried to track them but couldn't predict their movements. Human pilots thought in patterns that alien computers couldn't understand. Taemin left the Harmony in a small fighter craft. The blade allowed him to interface directly with the ship's systems, making it respond to his thoughts as quickly as his body. He flew through the Corvan formation like a golden comet, destroying enemy weapons with precise energy blasts. Behind, Him. The enhanced humans worked together with perfect coordination. They didn't need radio communication. The Blades network let them share thoughts and plans instantly. Each pilot knew exactly where every other pilot would be before they moved. The Corvan War Prime Zekoth commanded the defense from his flagship. He was even larger than Nexera, with cybernetic implants covering half his body. He had never lost a battle in 300 years of conquest. "These humans fight like a single organism," he reported to the Empire. "They anticipate our moves before we make them. How is this possible?" His tactical officer studied the sensor readings. "It appears to be some form of psychic network, War Prime. They're sharing information at the speed of thought." Zekoth roared in anger. "Then we'll overwhelm them with pure firepower. All ships, target the human flagship. Maximum power." But when the Corvan ships turned to focus on the Harmony, Tayman's fighter dove toward the station itself. The blade showed him exactly where to strike. One precise shot at the station's power core would disable its defenses and free the prisoners. Corvan fighters swarmed after him, but Moonsick and the other human pilots formed a protective screen. Their ships danced around the alien craft using superior speed and coordination to avoid the enemy fire. Tayman reached the station's surface and fired the blade's energy directly into the power core. Golden light spread through the station's metal structure like water through cracks. Every door in the prison sections unlocked. Every force field holding the slaves disappeared. Inside the station, freed aliens looked up at the sky and saw human ships fighting for their liberation. Many had never imagined that such small, fragile-looking beings could challenge the mighty Corvan Empire. But the battle wasn't over. War Prime Zekoth's flagship opened its main weapon, a beam cannon that could destroy entire cities. It targeted the disabled station, ready to kill everyone inside rather than let them go free. Tayman flew his fighter directly into the path of the beam. The blade created a shield of golden energy around his ship, absorbing the massive blast. For a moment he held the power of a star weapon inside the crystal. Then he redirected all that energy back at the Corvan flagship. The golden beam tore through the enemy ship's armor like paper. Zekoth had just enough time to realize what was happening before his flagship exploded in a burst of light that could be seen from 3 star systems away. The remaining Corvan ships fled immediately. Without their war prime, they had no stomach for continuing the fight. In the aftermath, Tayman's team rescued over 8,000 enslaved aliens from 40 different species. Dr. Sujin Lee worked tirelessly to communicate with them all, helping them understand that they were truly free. One of the rescued aliens was Velka, a scientist from a world the Corvans had destroyed 50 years ago. She was one of the last of her people, but her knowledge of Corvan technology was incredibly valuable. "Your species amazes me," she told Tayman as they traveled back toward Earth. "Most civilizations need centuries to develop space warfare. You did it in months." "We had good teachers," Tayman replied, nodding toward Ambassador Kethra. "No," Velka said. "The Thalans taught you technology, but they couldn't teach you to fight like you do. That comes from something else, something uniquely human." Over the following months, Earth's fleets liberated 6 more Corvan-controlled systems. Each victory brought more alien species into the growing alliance against the Empire. Humans became known throughout the galaxy as the Guardian species, the ones who fought not for conquest but for freedom. But success brought new challenges. The enhanced humans were changing in ways no one had expected. Some developed telepathic abilities like Jisoo. Others became incredibly strong or fast. A few could manipulate energy without any technology at all. "The blade is accelerating human evolution," Dr. Song explained to the Earth Council. "Each generation of enhanced humans is more powerful than the last." Admiral Hai Wan Choi, who now commanded Earth's entire space fleet, was worried about the implications. What if we become too powerful? What if we become like the Corvans ourselves? Tayman understood her concern. The blade showed him possible futures where humanity became conquerors instead of liberators. But it also showed him something else. "Power doesn't corrupt," he told the assembled leaders. "Fear corrupts. Greed corrupts. As long as we remember why we're fighting, we'll stay on the right path." The blade pulsed in agreement, sharing visions of the ultimate battle that was coming. The Corvin Empire was just a tool. Behind them was something much worse, something that the Ashanti had died trying to stop. But that was a threat for another day. For now, humanity had proven that small beings with big hearts could stand against the darkness. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time in centuries, many worlds dared to hope that freedom was possible. The next target was Kruvtai, the Corvin Empire's fortress world. If they could take that, they could strike at the heart of the empire itself. Taman looked out at the stars and felt the blade's power flowing through him. Somewhere out there, his sister Dayun's spirit smiled. Humanity was becoming everything she had believed they could be. The dead Ashanti homeworld floated in space like a broken jewel. Taman stood on the surface, surrounded by the ruins of a civilization that had once touched the stars. The blade hummed with sad recognition as it sensed the place where it was born. Crystalline towers that had survived millions of years pointed toward a sky that would never again know their builders. His team spread out across the ancient city. Admiral Haiwan coordinated security while Dr. Sujin worked to translate the final messages left by the Ashanti. Commander Do-hyun and his soldiers set up a perimeter, though nothing had lived on this world for eons. Oracle Jisoo pressed her hands against one of the crystal structures. Her psychic abilities had grown stronger during their journey across the galaxy. Now she could sense echoes of the past, like ghosts in the crystal. They knew they were dying, she whispered. But they weren't afraid. They were satisfied, like they had accomplished something important. The blade guided Taman deeper into the ruins, toward a massive temple at the city's heart. Inside, walls covered with Ashanti writing told the story of their final days. Dr. Sujin translated as fast as she could read. The Corvins weren't the real enemy, she said, her voice shaking. They were servants of something called the Harvester, an artificial intelligence that consumes entire dimensions. Ambassador Kethra's image appeared on their communication device. He was coordinating the battle against the Corvin Empire's final fleets, but his expression was worried. "We've been monitoring energy readings from your location," he reported. "Something massive is moving in the space between dimensions. Our scientists think it might be breaking free." Taman felt the blade pulse with urgency. The Ashanti consciousness was fully awake now, sharing memories that had been locked away. For millions of years, he saw the truth of what had happened here. The Harvester feeds on the life energy of entire civilizations, the blade told him through visions. When it consumes enough, it grows larger and moves to the next dimension. The Ashanti tried to stop it, but they were too few. "So they created you," Taman said aloud. "A weapon that could grow stronger by connecting to other minds." "Yes, but not just a weapon. A key. The Harvester is trapped in a dimensional prison, but the lock is failing. Someone must enter the void and maintain the seal from within." Taman understood immediately. This was what the blade had been preparing him for. Not just to fight the Corvins, but to take the place of the dying Ashanti guardians. "It's a one-way trip," he said. "For anyone else, yes. But you are different. The blade has bonded with you completely. Together you can become something new. A bridge between dimensions." His team gathered around him as he explained what they had learned. The silence that followed was heavy with the weight of destiny. "There has to be another way," he once said. "We've come too far to lose you now." "Maybe there is," Dr. Song said. He had been studying the Ashanti technology throughout their journey. "If the blade can enhance human evolution, maybe it can do more. Maybe it can make Taman into something that can exist in multiple dimensions at once." Oracle Jisoo closed her eyes and reached out with her powers. "I can feel it stirring," she said. "The Harvester. It's almost free. We have maybe hours before it breaks through." As if responding to her words, the space above the dead world began to tear. Reality split open like fabric, revealing something beyond that hurt to look at. The Harvester was vast beyond imagination, a storm of hungry darkness that devoured light itself. Taman felt the blade preparing for its final transformation. The power that had enhanced 50,000 humans, that had turned Earth into a galactic power, was gathering for one ultimate purpose. "I need you all to get to minimum safe distance," he told his team. When the blade releases its full power, I don't know what will happen. We're not leaving you, HFY said firmly. You have to. Earth needs leaders who understand what we've learned here. The galaxy needs protectors who remember why we fought. Taemin smiled at them. Besides, I won't be gone. Not really. They reluctantly boarded their ship and withdrew to orbit. Taemin stood alone in the ancient temple as the dimensional tear widened above him. Through it he could see the Harvester, reaching toward their reality with appendages made of consumed stars. The blade erupted from his chest in a pillar of light that reached from the planet's surface to the edge of space. Every enhanced human in the galaxy felt it, their connection to Taemin burning brighter than ever before. I'm proud of you, brother. Dayun stood beside him, no longer just a memory but part of the blade's consciousness. Around her, the spirits of the Ashanti gathered like points of living light. We will help you, they said in voices like singing crystal. You will not face the void alone. Taemin felt himself changing. His body dissolved into pure energy, but his mind remained clear. He was becoming something beyond human, beyond physical existence. The blade wasn't just a weapon anymore, but part of his very soul. He rose toward the dimensional tear, passing through it into the space between realities. The Harvester turned its attention toward him, recognizing the threat he represented. The battle that followed couldn't be described in any human language. It was fought with concepts instead of weapons, with pure will instead of force. Taemin wrapped himself around the Harvester like a golden chain, holding it back from the world of matter and energy. The entity raged against its prison, but it couldn't break free. Taemin was connected to every enhanced human in existence, drawing strength from their combined will to protect others. As long as humanity remembered its purpose, the chain would hold. But this wasn't just imprisonment. Slowly, carefully, Taemin began to purify the Harvester's consumed energy, freeing the civilizations it had devoured. Across multiple dimensions, dead worlds began to bloom with life again. Back in normal space, his team watched in amazement as the dimensional tear healed itself. The immediate threat was over, but they could still feel Taemin's presence through their enhanced abilities. Years passed. Humanity continued to grow and evolve, spreading throughout the galaxy as protectors and explorers. The Corvan Empire collapsed without the Harvester's support, its former slaves becoming free citizens of the new Galactic Republic. Admiral HFY became the first human to serve on the Republic's governing council. Dr. Su Jin established the Intergalactic Cultural Exchange, helping species understand each other. Commander Do Hyun founded the Guardian Academy, where enhanced humans learned to use their abilities responsibly. And sometimes, when the galaxy faced its darkest moments, a familiar voice would whisper guidance to those who fought for justice. A golden light would appear to point the way forward. Taemin kept his promise to stay connected to the world he had saved. On Earth, in a small cemetery in Seoul, Da-eun's memorial had been expanded into a monument for all who had given their lives to protect others. Fresh flowers appeared there regularly, though no one ever saw who left them. The inscription read, "They answered the call to protect the innocent. Their light guides us still." In the space between dimensions, Taemin watched over countless worlds, no longer fully human but still carrying everything that made humanity special. The Harvester slept in its purified prison, slowly being transformed from destroyer to creator, and, across the galaxy, enhanced humans continued to evolve and grow, always remembering the paramedic who had shown them that true strength comes from the willingness to sacrifice for others. The blade had chosen well, the call had been answered, and the light would never fade.